Hi, and welcome back to the Guitar Learning Show. I'm Bob.
And I'm Kevin. And today we are going to go through some reverb pedals. But to give you a little bit of history as to why we're doing this, we recently did a video called Last Pedal Standing, Overdrive episode. And we went through a bunch of overdrive pedals.
A lot of them.
And we played through them, and Bob tweaked the settings on them. And, you know, to be perfectly honest with you guys, I enjoyed the heck out of it. I thought it was a lot of fun. So in addition to it being fun, we got a lot of good responses on it. And so here we are, we're going to do the Last Pedal Standing reverb episode.
Yep. So we have a number of reverbs today we're going to go through. And the way this works is we have, we're going to pair two pedals against each other. We're using the JHS Switchback, you'll be able to see on the pedal cam, which allows us to go back and forth between pedals. We have a Vox AC15 between the pedals and Kevin. And if you know anything about the Vox AC15, they are not transparent.
Not at all.
So he cannot see anything going on. But we're going to go through these pedals. We're going to use, in general, we're going to stick to spring reverb for everything and just try to get a comparable tone and let him pick. We are going to go through the Walrus Audio Fundamentals Reverb, the Electro-Harmonix Oceans 11, the Strymon BlueSky, the Universal Audio Effects Golden Reverberator, the Electro-Harmonix Holy Grail Neo, the Boss RV6, the Flamma FS02 Reverb, and the trusty TC Electronic Hall of Fame 2. So we'll pair the two up. You'll be able to see from the pedal cam as we switch back and forth, and Kevin won't know what's going on. He'll just play and decide what he likes best.
That sounds great. That's a pretty broad range of reverb pedals.
There's a big range in functionality and price. Like I said, we're going to stick mostly to spring. If we kind of get into a tie situation, we might switch to plate or something similar to kind of break the tie. But the goal here is just to give everybody a pretty good view of what these different pedals sound like. And
the majority of these pedals, if not all of them, have spring, plate, and probably Hall or room or something.
Something like
that. Although room's kind of small and Hall, of course, is much bigger. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, well.
Great. Okay, I'll set two up and we will get started.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, so.
Let's start with the dry tone. No reverb, and there's no reverb in the amp. We're going, actually, so this is a Fender.
Oh, that would help.
Yeah, Fender American Stratocaster with noiseless pickups and the Clapton mid-boost circuit.
Yes, and they're noiseless vintage pickups.
Right, and we're going into the Bad Cat Cub 30 watt. And like I said, the reverb on the amp is turned off completely. Let's hear what the dry signal sounds like. Okay, you can see we have the JHS Switchback set up. When the red light is on, it's the pedal on the left side here. And when the green light is on, it'll be a pedal on the right side. So I'll turn the pedals on. Let's give it, go ahead, let's try the first pedal.
We have pedal, huh?
Okay, I'm going to switch to the other side.
Is there a shimmer on?
No, there's no shimmer on.
Okay, that's just the straight up reverb.
Yep.
Wow.
Turned the reverb level down a little bit. Want me to switch back?
Yeah, let's switch.
All right, let's go back to the other one.
I got to be honest, it was easier with the overdrives.
Yeah, I know. I'm sitting there listening, thinking, yeah, this is a lot trickier than the overdrive.
Back to the other one.
Sure. We'll call this the right pedal.
Okay. And the other one again for a second.
Sure.
They're very similar. This one sounds like it's more just more modulation, more.
Now I can see them, so I'm trying not to influence things.
Yeah, if you could switch it again, please.
Sure.
And then the other one.
Okay.
That one's staying on.
Okay. That's what I was thinking myself. Okay. So we will take this one out. And while I switch pedals, please make sure to like and subscribe.
Oh, yes,
And
please.
I'm going to put this pedal on in the loser's row here and we'll go with this one. Okay. Let's listen to the Challenger first.
This is the new one?
This is the new one.
Okay. Okay, let's try the other one.
Okay.
lost myself. What were we just listening to? Is that the Challenger? Or is that
That's the Champion.
That's the Champion. Okay, back to the Challenger.
Okay.
Champion, please.
Champion.
This is the
Champion.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with this still.
Okay. Another Challenger moves over to the wall of shame there, and we will grab
Sorry,
a new
Challenger.
competitor.
And of course, this is just my opinion.
Yep. Yeah, but you know, you're following along. You can see what the pedals are. If you think we got one wrong, please tell us.
Yeah, it's challenging with the reverb. It was definitely, and maybe I hear drive pedals differently. Reverb's harder for me.
But reverb is trickier because it's a lot more subtlety. You know,
Yeah.
if a drive pedal's muddy or something, you hear that
It's
right
pretty
away.
easy to rule stuff
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, true.
Okay, let's go to our Champion.
Okay.
Okay, and the Challenger.
I feel like that needs a little more
Yeah, I'm working on
reverb
it.
just out of the gate. That was the Challenger,
Yep.
right? Let's listen to the other one again.
Sure,
please.
back to the Champion.
I'm sorry, that one stays.
Okay, we send another one to the defeated pile. Okay, so real quick with the current champion, the reigning champion,
Okay.
we'll give that a shot.
Okay.
And the new Challenger.
Can we give that one a
Yep,
little
I'm
more?
working on it.
All right. Can't believe these pedals aren't exactly the same at 12
I know,
o'clock, right?
exactly. I
What's
don't
up
have,
with that?
didn't pre-calibrate them or anything. back to the Champion?
No, I'm going to stick with the Champion.
Okay.
Watch this end up being the least expensive pedal in the whole mix.
That's right. That
Which is part of the fun of having a little bit of a range of pedals.
Oh,
We have
right.
pedals in here from $60 up to $379.
Absolutely.
Somewhere in that neighborhood. I think that Strymon is about $379.
Yeah. Okay, let's real quick with the current Champion.
We can switch. I've heard that a million times.
I know you
now.
have. I just like to kind of level set. Okay.
All right.
There's the Challenger.
I mean, right out of the gate, that's a noisy pedal.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as you switched it on, it produced a lot more noise than the previous pedal. I'm going to stick with the first one.
Okay. And if you have any of these pedals and we didn't do them justice, let us know what settings you use. And we're just kind of going through real quick here. I'm trying to get something.
I mean, granted, if we spent a lot more time with each pedal, we could do them all.
Yeah, we could get them all dialed into the best.
Because I bet you can get most of those dialed in pretty nicely.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. Okay. Do you want to do a quick with the Champion?
Yes.
All right, and the new Challenger.
I just really like the sounds out of that pedal, whatever it is. So. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but maybe we could turn the reverb down a tiny bit on that.
Yeah, it was a little high.
What do you
realized.
think, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think? Maybe somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
Just a tiny little bit more.
How's that?
That's the Champion, right?
That's the Challenger.
That's the Challenger. Okay, switch the other one, please.
Yep.
Thank you. I'm going to stay with the Champion.
Okay. All right. Switch to our last competitor.
I hope we're not biasing it too much by continually calling it that, but we'll see.
Okay. All right, we'll start with the Champion again.
Okay.
All right, let's try the Challenger.
The other one again, please.
Sure.
Until I really hit those chords, which I hadn't done
Yeah.
previously, I wasn't, I mean, I was hearing a little bit of spring, but man, that was springy.
It was very springy there.
All right, let's hear the other one
Okay.
again. Wow. I'm going to have to go with the Champion just
Yeah.
because of the springiness.
Yeah, it really
know?
does have. I mean, and again, we are just testing spring on these.
Yeah.
So and it
Oh
really
man, we
does
would have been here all night if we went to some of the other ones.
Okay, well, that was the last contender.
Okay.
Let's go through the results.
That was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun, and it was tricky. I cheated a little bit. We had to refilm a small portion with the last contender, and Kevin had kind of in between mentioned a couple things he didn't like about it, and I tried to tweak those out of it to make it tougher on him.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, we started out with the Boss RV6
Okay.
versus the Holy Grail Neo. The RV6 won.
Having played them separately,
Yep.
just tried them out. I prefer the RV6, but in a blind test, I really wouldn't. I can't. I don't know which is. I really don't.
Yep.
But I'm not surprised because I do prefer the sounds that come out of that pedal
Yep.
compared to the Holy Grail.
So, right, absolutely. So the RV6 then ran the table, right? So the first up was the Flamma, right? The Flamma FS02. Now, in the Flamma's defense, it just says reverb, and there's a bunch of settings. There's no spring or plate. I tried to get it set springy.
Oh, I forgot to tell you that these are like number 5 or number 6 is spring.
Okay, well, we were on 7,
Sorry.
so
I'm sorry.
that's all right.
Well, we didn't give the Flamma a fair shot.
Okay, but
I
then
forgot about that.
the Boss defeated the Flamma. It went on to defeat the BlueSky,
Okay.
the Hall of Fame. Now, the pedal you said that was the loudest was the pedal that was on your board for years.
No
the
kidding.
Electro-Harmonix Oceans 11.
No kidding.
Yep. And
Well, you heard it when you
Yeah,
once we
absolutely.
switched over to it. It produced
and there was noise right up front that was a little louder, but
interesting.
even so, when when you weren't playing, there was still a little bit of noise. I don't know if it'll come out through on the audio in the video, but there was a little bit of noise.
Okay.
We then went on to the Walrus Fundamental Reverb, and that one was a tricky one for you.
Interesting.
Yeah, so, and that's one of the more affordable reverbs on the table, and it was a tricky one for you compared to the RV6.
I was surprised because I didn't really love that pedal.
Mm-hmm.
You must have just dialed it in a lot differently than what I did. And in all fairness, Bob is very good at dialing this stuff in, and he's good at making these changes, whereas I'm still, working on it.
And then the biggest fight came out of the Golden Reverberator.
Okay.
The only thing that threw it, I really think, to the RV6 was that springiness at the end.
It did. Although that's not as bright.
Right, and I had I had tweaked the tone a little bit, and I brought the decay down. The first time we tried it, the trails were going on forever. And really, this thing, the mix was set below the halfway point. The trails were set below halfway point, and the bass was turned down. I mean, this is a fantastic sounding pedal.
I agree.
But for spring, I really think it did come down to that RV6.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that RV6 sounded amazing.
Yep.
So I'm surprised the BlueSky got...
And it didn't take you a lot to get rid of the BlueSky either. Now, I've not used the BlueSky before. I may have, you tell me in the comments, did I completely botch the settings? But, I mean, you know, I know we're doing a shootout between the BlueSky and the Reverberator to get a little more
Yeah, we'll
in-depth.
get some detail on the on those two, because they're similar in a lot of respects. There's a couple main differences, but they're similar in a lot of respects, and their price point is very similar. So, you know, it's funny because I watched a fair amount of Reverb videos over time, and definitely more recently, and a lot of people love that RV6.
Fantastic sounding pedal.
I was, yeah.
And I didn't spend a lot of time tweaking it. I got that first sound, and that sound held through the whole thing.
You know, Boss is really, they are called Boss for a reason.
You know,
they really are.
We all love the boutique pedals. We all love, you know, the fanciest possible.
I do.
The you know, all the little tweaks. We like hearing the interviews with the builders where they talk about, you know, these particular capacitors or whatever. But Boss you just can't go wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I've got 2 or 3 Boss pedals on each of my boards.
Sure.
I can't remember what I've got. I've got at least one down on the smaller board that I have in the, you know. That's very cool for me to have chosen that pedal. I'm excited that I did. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, this is just going to be between the Golden and the BlueSky.
Right.
Pretty much. It's going to just be between those two pedals. And maybe the Flam is going to get some love in there, because actually I like this pedal.
It's a
good
great
pedal.
sounding pedal.
You know?
And if I'd have known, you know, it's an injustice to it, but if I'd have known the how the different settings worked,
I apologize. That was me. I did read the manual, and I did know, and I just forgot to talk to you about that ahead of time. And I've played this a little bit. I've got this on my small board downstairs, and I don't love this pedal. I've heard people that I respect who really like it.
Sure.
I don't.
You asked on that pedal. You said, "Is there a shimmer on?" And there's no shimmer control.
It's too much, is what it is.
It really
and it's
is.
not tweakable enough.
Right. It has. It definitely leans. It adds a little bit of that ambient reverb to all of its settings.
It overcompensates for having just that one.
Yeah.
You know, knob. So, and it's kind of hard when that's all you have.
Yeah.
But it's a very simple pedal to adjust. It just has spring hole and plate, you know, on the switch, and then you adjust the knob, and that's it. So if you want something that does not have a lot of tweakability, that's not. I won't say it's a bad pedal to have.
No, it sounded fine. It sounded fine. It just I mean, it couldn't hold up against the pedal that defeated them all.
So I'm surprised that the Walrus Reverb, which is I think it was about an $85 pedal. Which, by the way, I mean, none of this is cheap. It all costs a lot, our hard-earned money.
Yep.
But I'm surprised that it did as well as it did. And so I apparently had a little bit of a challenge going between that and the RV6.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Okay.
That probably gave you the toughest, right after the Golden Reverberator. And when you consider the difference in the cost between the Reverberator and the Walrus.
Well, and probably I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the Oceans probably went out the fastest, didn't it?
Because they're so noisy.
Yeah, I mean, that's enough, really. Yeah. That's really enough for me. You know, with noise. So.
Yep. Like I said, it sat on your pedal board for years.
Yep.
Gets a little different though when you don't have it chained to all the other pedals, right? You saw some of our pedal board videos daisy chaining the pedals definitely affects tone and noise and all of those things. So when it's just going to that pedal, you're just getting that pedal. So
yeah, so with my board setup, that one is not connected to the loop switcher. So that's an always on unless I hit the actual pedal.
okay,
So that's pretty much always on. So that
was always on because it's off your board.
it's off the board now because I have a few other that I wanted to try out and decide what I want to actually put on the board full time. And it looks like it may be the RV6 with something else in the wings as a backup. I don't know.
Well, and when you really evaluate what's going to go on your board, you'll go beyond spring. You'll try some of the other
Well, that's
settings.
true enough. But I think that the Oceans 11 is going to take a break for a little while.
Sure.
And I'll play with some of these other pedals.
Absolutely.
So that was a lot of fun for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you would please like and subscribe,
Absolutely.
Hit the notification bell. It really helps grow the channel. And we really appreciate you watching. And if you have any comments, good or constructive, please leave them. Please drop them in the comment section. We'd really appreciate that.
Yep, we always want to hear from you. All right. Well, thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.
See you next time. Thanks for watching.